Entertainment news today. It's such a dragon gay. Everything sucks and it's no good. That comes out of Hollywood. There's one place you can go to get all your news and info, and maybe even have a laugh or two. You know it's true. Midnight's Edge after dark, it is life. We stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight's Edge after dark. All those bombs and flops, but need never stops. We will keep going through the night as we keep up the culture fight. Midnight's Edge after dark is life. We stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight's Edge after dark.
Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the program. It's time for Midnight's Edge After Dark. Still going strong after 7 long years or so, give or take a day or two. We have CC Caro Yoki here with us. How you doing up there in Canada?
Doing all right. I've actually started watching the first season of For All Mankind.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Interesting.
I don't know. I think that counts as an overlooked show at this point, because I remember overlooking it a bunch of times, and I think a lot of other people probably did too. But yeah, I'm quite liking it.
It was pretty popular when it first came out.
It's one of those things, I guess, where you have like 2 years between seasons. People forget it exists.
Maybe. I don't know, but that's good to hear. Nick, how you doing?
Hey, Tom, CC, I'd be doing pretty good. Happy to be here. We came on time, and The Rock is clearly not a movie star. He may be a star in wrestling, but in the movies, he is not. But hello, chat. Hello, mods. Thanks for having us. Let's talk about that and another most likely unnecessary sequel.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of unnecessary sequels, I know tonight on Toxic Tuesday, you're going to be talking about the gayest of nightmares.
But that one is necessary because it gave us this movie to talk about for the best of reasons. We got our eloquent, exquisite guest, Mike Harlow, joining us for this movie. I mean, it couldn't be any more of a perfect guest for a perfect movie. This is like a hand in glove fit.
Super gay, I hear.
Yes, it's a hand in glove fit that OJ wishes he could accomplish.
He'll give you a reach around with his glove.
That was good. I like that.
Well, you know, I gotta impress a little bit. So
Yeah.
yes, with that, we'll be talking about Little Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 on Toxic Tuesday following the program. So stay tuned for that and head on over to Rumble for that. But until then, we've got a member milestone for Tim Hayes, who's been here for 47 months. Thank you, Tim, for that. That's awesome. Thank you, sir. Then also, we've got, well, I thought we had something else, but I guess we don't. We're good to go on that. So let's get into the news of the day. As Joker says, The Rock is a mediocre wrestler who was lucky his mother came from the royal bloodline of WWE. Even worse, actor.
No,
Well,
I disagree on the mediocre wrestler part, but no, we all feel how we feel. And Joker's voice is allowed to feel that way.
Well, I think he's on point with a lot of that, to be honest with you. I mean, I can't speak to his wrestling much.
That's what I'm speaking of. But as
Yeah,
far as
I never really got into his wrestling, and maybe that's where we need you to come in with that, Nick. But like for me as a movie star, I've been one, and I think you and CC can back me up on this. I've been saying for years that The Rock is not a fucking movie star. There is no
clearly
proof that he can open a movie that big. In fact, his highest grossing film is Black Adam, which is considered a flop. And then you have to go to stuff like Skyscraper and San Andreas, which were modest hits at best. Probably his most
modest.
lucrative film or financially money-making film was probably the one that he did with The Game Plan, I think it's called. But yeah, so this most recent quote-unquote flop at the box office for The Rock goes to show what we've been saying. Unless he's in something that's like Fast and the Furious 2 or 17 or whatever the fuck they're on now, or some other G.I. Joe 2 is what I really meant. Even that didn't really help that much.
Oh, that
you can come into the like Jumanji and some of these other stuff. Yeah,
but those are ensemble casts.
Yeah,
G.I.
exactly.
Joe, Fast and Furious. Those weren't.
You have Jack Black in half of those, and Jack Black is as far as I know the most recognizable actor amongst Gen Z.
Oh yeah, easily. So it's not surprising that this happened. Now, I did watch the Critical Drinkers review on this movie. And it was an interesting review that got quite a few takeaways because he actually said the problem with the movie as far as acting was not Dwayne Johnson. He said he actually brought a pretty good performance. And he said you can actually tell he's trying to actually be a actual actor, not just a guy with charisma and like.
Well, to be
charm.
fair, I'm not talking about the movie itself, right?
Okay,
I'm talking about the
getting
actor.
there. I'm getting there.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to be clear about that for anybody else listening.
Absolutely. He said the biggest problem with this movie was its script. That's a subjective stance. The Rock is objectively more popular than Undertaker and Steve Austin, and I like Stone Cold more than The Rock. But the facts are the facts. Like The Rock is objectively more popular than both of them. But anyways, let's bring it back to this movie here. With serious script and him trying to be this more serious actor, I do respect that. It seems like he has noted some of his criticisms, and he wants to try to actually do some more serious, respectable roles. But just because you want to do those things doesn't mean it's still automatically going to translate into box office dollars. He was never the draw. Hell, I could say maybe at one point he may have been a draw for his first time being in a movie because there's the initial curiosity of, oh hey, look, it's this guy we know wrestling who's in a movie. Awesome. But outside of that, if you want to look back to The Rundown, I think that was his second or third movie he was in ever. And it did not do well. And it was unfortunate because I actually liked that. That was the one with him and Sean William Scott. It did not perform well at the box office. I can't remember if it underperformed or if it outright flopped. It was one or the other, but regardless of which one,
The Rundown didn't do all that great. I think it did $89 million or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is not bad, but it's not great either.
Yeah.
No.
So regardless of if you want to call it a flop or an underperformer, it didn't hit the mark that it should have. And, it's weird because, people who saw it liked it. Even critics were fairly receptive towards it too. But it just goes to show you the initial interest to bring him in for a strong opening weekend was never there. Because if it was going to be there, that should have been the movie to have done. You know why? Because with The Mummy Returns, okay, debut movie with The Rock, having a small part. Second movie, The Scorpion King. But that's based off a franchise. Now The Rundown was his opportunity to cash in on his name without having a established IP attached to his name. This movie needs to sell The Rock on its own merits, not attach to anything else. And that was at the peak of The Rock's career too. Like he was insanely huge with wrestling, insanely huge. If there was a time he should have been a draw, that should have been it, and he wasn't. And that's once again, it was bummed me out at the time because I thought The Rundown was cool, but he just was never the draw. And it shows you just because you're popular one medium of entertainment doesn't mean people are always going to automatically translate over to that. I get the idea in theory, and maybe you'll get some crossover, but it's never anywhere near absolute. But Hollywood tends to think that they're just going to automatically flock to something just because it simply exists. They don't look at the details.
Yeah, and CC, I want to get your impression on this too, but before we get into it too much, I mean, his actual response wasn't that bad. I mean, he basically said, all I can control is my performance. I can't control the box office. I just tried to give it my all. Look, his answer isn't problematic in any way as far as I'm concerned. I mean, if he did blame the script, I don't see that quote here. But if he did, I mean, that's kind of shitty on his part. I mean, dude, I mean, you took the script. Right, like, and not only that, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is one of these motherfuckers who probably has script doctor folks who come in and work on his behalf to amp up scripts anyway. But what I brought up here is his international box office and domestic mixed together, I think. But we're in the list of highest worldwide box office right now. So, I mean, you go down the list here, you got to go all the way down, like I said, to San Andreas, Rampage, or Black Adam, depending on which, you know, how you want to consider it, right? So, like, I would say San Andreas is probably his most popular film, and that only brought it, you know, only, I know, not under $500 million. Okay, yeah, it was a hit worldwide, but it was really big outside the U.S. But that's his fucking peak. I mean, even the Fast Five film where he's the, you know, in that didn't do all that well either. Some of the Fast Furious films, he's in that Hobbs and Shaw movie, I think, tanked. If I remember,
Did
right,
it? I never knew how that movie did.
I don't even see it. Well, here's the rundown.
Yeah, the rundown
right
did not do well.
But I mean, even here, yeah, like, I mean, Moana, I wouldn't count those as his type of film.
None of them. Let's be real here. None of them count because they were all things he was picking back off of, whether it's ensemble cast, established game, board game / video game, comic book character, prequel, sequel to a franchise from before. Those are all fallbacks. Those all were fallbacks. None of those matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
nothing is on his. Well, sorry, I'm not. I'd be lying here. I'm not going to be dishonest. Almost nothing here that did very well has him being the lead, selling on his own merits. And the only thing that looks to my mind I see on the list is San Andreas, and that did pretty good at best. Obviously, it did much better overseas because, you know, overseas markets tend to eat up on, you know, big dumb fun action movies, which I applaud them for doing. I actually like San Andreas too, but once again, he just was never a hit and the box office, and it's gonna be bad for wrestling fans because a lot of fans don't want him to come back because they're worried that he's gonna go back to wrestling as a fallback since his movie didn't do well. Well, now I gotta go reclaim some fame in wrestling just to, you know, balance this out. Maybe I'm wrong and he actually won't do that, but I know for a lot of WWE fans, they're gonna be very skeptical of this because he tends to do that when he gets like a set of bombs and flops. He tends to lurk right back into wrestling to do very well, and then overshadows, you know, any up and coming potential new talent that's trying to, let's just say, break through to the world. So this is a damper on everyone. I would prefer it if his movie did well too, even if I didn't like it, just so he could just stay away from WWE longer.
So, CC, anything else you had to add to this? Because I know we dominated the convo.
My issue is that I don't see him as an action star. I don't think of him that way. There's really two kinds of movies he's been in, to my knowledge, anyways, even looking at this list. He's been in soft family films, where he's like, you know, the daddy figure. Okay, family film, whatever. He's not going to build... he's not going to be a star on that. And the other thing he's done is he's been in action films as part of an ensemble, like the Fast franchise. But when he's been in those movies, he hasn't been imposing either. I'd have to think really hard to imagine which movie he's been in that's been a pure action flick that has him really be imposing on the screen in the way that a classic Arnold Schwarzenegger would, right? Because he's kind of a gold standard of the action star, or a Jason Statham. But really,
and that's what they keep comparing him to a Schwarzenegger. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, when it comes to The Rock's build, like, he is clearly, as this latest film shows, he is built, and he's still built, but he's getting older. But he's like, you know, he should, frankly, be shirtless and kicking ass, right? And he should be fucking, he should be alpha male. My understanding of this movie, which I haven't seen this movie, but my understanding from what I've read is that it's not really, there's not a whole lot of him kicking ass in it. It's supposed to be a serious drama. And all right, credit to him for wanting to take on a serious acting role and show that he has chops. I appreciate that. But it was kind of marketed as a gritty action film, right?
Oh, I didn't get that from the market. I saw it as a drama. You
right.
saw a completely different genre than me. I saw it as a drama.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Then at least that's fair. But I mean, this guy needs to get into a gritty action movie, and he needs to do more than one. He needs to have been doing that for the last 20 years. And maybe if he had been in some great action flicks, some classic action flicks, which they don't even really make anymore. So there's that too. Maybe he could have built some star status. I think that's one of the things that's kind of like not happening in Hollywood right now is the actual idea of having an actor play to their strengths in a series of movies. And talking about the Fast franchise, it almost did that, right? Like when it came back, that fourth film was actually pretty good, and that's why the fifth film was, more successful. And then and then the sixth film was successful based on the success of the fourth and the fifth. You got to build that up, whether you're a star or a franchise. You actually have to make good quality products. Now, the Fast franchise has gotten dumb and ridiculous, and that's part of why maybe it has had somewhat diminishing returns. But they keep making them, But I think for me, anyways, that's the biggest issue with The Rock is he never really built himself a resume to be a star. He's been in a lot of movies that are either, again, just they don't fit. He's not a soft family daddy guy, and if he's been in an ensemble with a chance to be, ripped, shredded, and kicking ass, I don't usually feel like he just doesn't have that presence, and maybe he doesn't have it. Period. Although he's trying here, but there's nothing to build on. There's nothing to get people excited. Say, "Oh shit, The Rock is," So, but I don't have any issue with the statement he made as long as he didn't say the script sucks. I don't mind him saying that he put his heart and soul into delivering a performance and he has no control over the box office. That's okay. I don't mind that.
Yeah, and that may have been part of the quote as well. They just didn't say that in the article I had pulled up. So, I mean, Nick may have seen it elsewhere. I'm not saying he didn't say it. I just didn't see it in the thing I was looking at here. But yeah. Yeah, let's see what you guys are saying out there in the chat. ActionCom says, what was The Rock's hot streak from what to what films?
Depends on how
I wouldn't say he really has one. That's his problem.
That's it, right?
You could say maybe movies he was in that happened to do well is a very different thing than movies that he was the main star in that did where he had a hot streak.
The closest thing he has to a franchise is Jumanji, and those two films did well, but I don't think the second film did nearly as well.
Those were because of it being Jumanji, not because
exactly.
of him.
Well, partially. I mean, again, I think that's more of the Jack Black factor. Because when I read that, I agreed with it because Jack Black was the first actor my kid recognized as an actor as a kid, right?
Okay.
Like when he was watching School of Rock, he's like, that's Jack Black, right, Dad? I'm like, yeah, that's his real name, yeah. So like he differentiated at that point already at like 3-4 years old or whatever it was, that this guy is an actor and he's in stuff and he sees him also because I think he's seen him in like, Nickelodeon stuff and other stuff that he was watching at the time to where it was starting to click with him that this guy was doing other things besides just being in a movie. And I think because of that, and I look, I have no personal one way or the other with Jack Black. I always thought he was okay, but I never thought he was great. I always saw him in these little bit parts when he was back in the day, and I said, that guy's going to be a big star someday. And 9 times out of 10, I was able to pick people out like that. But I mean, he is actually a movie star compared to The Rock. He has hits, right? Like he has films under his belt that for the last 20 plus years, Jack has built himself over time as this very well-known actor, whether it be in comedy, somewhat dramedy. He hasn't really done action, but he kind of stays in his lane, right? He's not, and that's kind of where he's probably different than The Rock, right? Like, yes, has Jack tried to do some more serious shit? Oh, sure he has, right? But it's not playing to the same audience that Nacho Libre is, right? Like, that's the difference. Like, they're not really, it's kind of like what Adam Sandler does. He established himself first, then he went and did Punch Drunk Love. You know what I mean? Then he could get away with doing that kind of stuff and then, step right back into his typical shit. Jack has been able to kind of do that. He hasn't even gone as serious as far as I know. I'm trying to think in the back of my mind. I don't think he has done anything that fucking serious yet. He's done a few things that were serious, but yeah.
I mean, Jack knows his lane.
Exactly.
With Adam Sandler, I wish he would do more serious stuff. I mean, as much as I love some of his comedies, it's just like that guy can act. That guy is a fantastic actor. He's one of the best
Jim Carrey did
actors
it too.
of the last. Yeah, both
is
of
brought
them.
up in the chat. But Jim, on the other hand, he became like Eddie Murphy, became too obsessed with being in the serious shit and getting an Oscar or something, and that kind of ruined who they were. But yeah, no, I don't know if I'd really ever say that The Rock had a hot streak. To be honest with you, Action Com, the best one I guess you could say is whatever he did between Jumanji, that Jungle Cruise movie, Jumanji 2, are probably the fewer movies that he had in a row that actually did okay at the box office, I guess. I mean, otherwise you're hit and miss with a lot of stuff. Maybe the Rampage, San Andreas, Skyline, kind of, are those close enough together that you count that as a streak? Because otherwise, not really. Because even his best hits are not that big of hits if you take away the Fast and the Furious and all that kind of stuff.
He's never had anything close to a Total Recall.
No,
in terms of just
not
quality,
even, or Terminator
flick.
or anything like
Yeah.
that. So Kareen brings up an interesting point and question.
Or a Predator, he has none of those.
Now, Kareen actually brings up a good question, or a good point here, however you want to look at it, for $4.99. Thank you, Kareen. So movie stars are only actors that have blockbuster movies. That is a very simplified way of looking at it. I'm looking at it as, can they open movies, and not only can they open movies, can they do it worldwide? The Rock used to be able to do that, but we're still looking back at his career now. And we have the lowest
Rock
opening.
Ever done that? I don't think he ever could.
Like I said, you go back to the San Andreas, those few movies, they did pretty well overseas.
They did pretty well, but that wasn't like
not movie star status. Exactly.
Yeah, it wasn't movie star status. It did fine. It was decently received. I think we gotta I guess we should try and make that distinction clear. But I think it was the timing, summer blockbuster, action movie.
Blows him out of the water, though. That's the point, right?
Oh, I mean,
if you go toe to toe with him, Jason Statham is arguably probably the biggest action movie star right now alive.
And I'll add something to that. Like Jason Statham, even never mind Arnold Schwarzenegger. Jason Statham can give that look on screen, right? Like that menacing look. I've never really seen.
Well, and he's consistent.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is you're right. The Rock generally plays in a very slim. Normally he's The Rock. Now this, I have not seen this movie, so I can't speak to that. I don't know if he's deviating from his norm. He is
trying to deviate. He is.
And that could be that he's playing, if it's anything like Raging Bull or anything like that, then yeah, he's probably playing a somewhat unlikable character. I don't know about the character itself. I heard the ending is not that, it doesn't have a very uplifting ending or anything like that. But I mean, it's a biopic. A lot of these movies don't usually. But I mean, I guess to answer Kareen's question here is, I look at it as somebody who can open films consistently, like Jason Statham is a good example. Timothée Chalamet has become a sustainable actor. I hate to bring up Zendaya, but she's been in probably enough films back to back that did well.
It done well because of her.
Yeah, that's more arguable. Zendaya, she kind of falls into the Rock category. You're right.
Zendaya. I'm not saying as a disrespect on her, but that's kind of like how they're trying to make the spin about, was it Disney with the whole, wow, look, we had this first leading Scarlett Johansson.
Margot Robbie's a good example of a movie star. I'm trying to think of some female stars too, like Margot Robbie is somebody who can open movies. I think she's done all right. She's done consistent enough between. See, this is the other thing too, is nowadays for an actor to become a movie star, instead of creating something like Rocky or Rambo like Sly did, you almost got to slide into something like what Margot Robbie did with she's played both Harley and Barbie now. Right, alone, not to mention the other stuff that she's done. So she's got two of those kind of notches in her belt. The Rock has never quite been able to find a niche. I guess you could say Hobbs and Shaw did okay in comparison to some of the other Fast and Furious films. But when you take away Jumanji, what else does he have? I mean, he's not making a bunch of sequels to any of his previous films. There was talks of a San Andreas 2, I think, for a while, but it just never came to fruition. So again, I think he thinks he's a bigger star than he really is. I think a lot of people in Hollywood think he's a bigger star than he really is. Is he a movie star? I mean, that could be a bit debatable. And Kareen, I that's why I'm glad you kind of asked this question, because I mean, I guess without being a bit hyperbolic, yes, the Rock is a movie star. People know who he is. He's arguably probably one of the most recognizable actors today. But the problem is he's not somebody who is getting people off their butts to go see his movies unless he's in an ensemble cast, appears to be the case here. Because he has yet to have a distinct track record outside of Jumanji and Fast and Furious films. And that, unfortunately, is not really making him a big movie star at the end of the day. So, yeah. Hopefully that answers your question. Paulie, I see you in the chat, and you're somebody who might be able to help with that kind of description too in the chat, because I know you have a little bit different angle and feeling about actors and how they're perceived. But I'm looking at it as somebody who can open a movie flat out worldwide, and you almost have a consistent ability that their movies are going to not only open but pan out in the end and make money. And like I said, Statham is probably one of the best examples. Even though he doesn't have films that make $300 million on average, he does have his Megs and other things that have done well, and Expendables and stuff like that. But like, yeah, Jenna Ortega is a good example. Yeah, thank you, Paulie. She's up and coming, especially on television.
She was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where she has quite to prove herself.
I think she needs to show she can sell herself as a Jenna Ortega in something rather than be led by the IP. If she could own something on her own without having to fall back to the IP, she has potential. I'll put it that way. Like, I've watched the Wednesday show with my daughter. She really loves it. And, I definitely feel like she has the it factor. It just, now, can that become a reality? So she's definitely not out of the question of having the potential to get there, but we got to see it actually happen.
On Jenna, one of the things that I think anyways drew people to her was that kind of bubbly, youthful presentation. And then she went and decided that she wanted to be 50 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
But it goes against what she was building her marketability on. So we'll see what happens with that.
I don't think that's going to put a stain on her career, if we're going to be fair here.
I hope not.
I don't think it will.
She actually seems like she seems like a really nice person, from what I gather. I don't know that, but seems that way. But when an actor, regardless, when they take a hard left turn, I'll have my concerns, right?
Yeah, many have taken harder left turns and also been fine. I wouldn't even call her situation a left turn. It was more so she just kind of did what a lot of other people did, and that's really nothing that stands out, really. And I'm talking about referring to her, her Botox surgery, whatever it was. It's nothing out of the ordinary. It's like, I don't think it's a good look, but whatever. It's how I feel about that. Is not relevant as far as how will that do to occur. I don't think it's going to do anything. It's not even a blip on the radar.
And then ActionCom asked for $2. Could The Rock run for California office? I hope he doesn't.
That at the time, let's just say probably about 2016, I always thought I could definitely see him running. But now, and I always thought when I could see him running, I can see him winning. But now we're in 2025. Do I still see him possibly running? Maybe. Do I see him winning? I'm not so sure anymore. I feel like it's registered, but not registered all the way. That what he, accomplished in wrestling, which obviously was absolutely incredible and astonishing, isn't always going to translate everywhere else. And it hasn't. I can see the idea of why it could at least help, at least to get you started, but I actually don't see him winning California governor in either party. I feel like that would actually be detrimental to his career, especially since he backed out of endorsing a presidential candidate in 2024 when he said, "I did not mean to cause division amongst my fans in 2020." When he endorsed the candidate. So whoever wins in 2024, that will be my president. So And he stuck to his word. I'll give him that. He stuck to his word. He never got his nose involved again. And I know even our current president spoke fondly of him on, was it the Undertaker's podcast, when he talked about when Anthony got shot by that crazy mental nut job kid. He said he actually got a call directly from Dwayne Johnson talking about, hey, are you okay? What happened there? So they had a conversation. I at least know they're mutual again. Doesn't mean they're going to be buddy. They don't need to be. The world's the world, but at least it seems like he's staying in his lane more as far as that goes.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want him in office.
I don't think he's going to do it. I think it would, if he does, it's going to. I think it's going to hurt his career. And I'm not looking at it based on how I want him or don't want him. I think it would just be very bad for his career because he's done a lot of damage to it lately between the In-N-Out burger lie and then the presidential election of 2020 and then the string of bombs, and now he's starting to actually get some stigma for his back and forthing in wrestling. I think if he had done it maybe like 2016, 2015, it would probably been a better move then. But I feel like right now he needs to rebuild his image if he was to even consider doing it. But he's got a long way to go. He's kind of like the kid who was the straight A kid. And once you get that F, it's harder to get to a C, especially a B. He's in the Fs and he's got a mountain to climb, and I don't know if he'll recover from that. I mean, good luck to him, and hopefully at least get to a C, but I don't know if he'll get there.
Yeah, and Kareem brings up a fair point about Margot Robbie's recent movie bombing, and I mean, all these actors eventually have movies bomb.
But
Margot hasn't been in.
But Suicide Squad 2016 just had a good opening weekend. It didn't hold legs at the box office. I wouldn't even consider that a success. And as much as I love,
but Birds of Prey did not do that great.
Oh, it flat out bombed. Period. And as
no, so as, I mean, I don't know if she'd be a better example of a movie star or not. But the thing that she has going for her, she's been in a lot of other more prestigious films.
Okay.
Besides, plus Barbie was huge.
Oh yeah, but that was huge because of Barbie, not because of Margot Robbie.
True, and that could be an argument made there. But yeah, we'll have to see how she pans out in the future. But yeah. Yeah. Flying Blind says, or has been here for 8 months. Thank you for that. And also says, why I did really like Scorpion King. I never really watched any of The Rock's other movies until Black Adam. Was just wasn't interested. So yeah, he liked the Scorpion King, but just didn't care to check in after that. It sounds like, and I don't blame you. ActionCom says a lot of state governors, the body, the Austrian oak, and coming soon, The Rock. It can happen. Is he geoed? I don't know.
If you can't open a movie, how are you going to win an election?
Well,
he's not
politics
the guy.
are a little odd. I mean, you never know. But I mean, yeah.
I mean, he has that winning smile, I suppose. But like,
but here's the thing: what's going on with Dwayne Johnson? It's not like it's just something. Let's just say people in our sphere like know about. Like people like around the world are now aware of his reputation being the way it was. It has hit like the casual conversation amongst Normies when people bring up The Rock. It's, oh, is he gonna go back to wrestling because his newest movie didn't do good? Like those are things that I actually hear from Normie. So it's not like that winning smile is gonna save him anymore. And I feel like that's all because, well, I feel like he caused that destruction himself. I feel like he could have rebuilt his image if he didn't lie so much and then get involved with the election, and then you add in the string of bonds. I think it was like all of the above. He did it all to himself just because he got caught up so much in all his own success, which I'll give him credit. He earned his way to the top, but man, did he know how to bring himself down after it. Tom?
Yeah, he did.
It's okay.
I mean, there's something to be said for famous people running for office, and I feel like that's almost expected at a certain point.
Oh yeah, and I get why
That's,
one
that's,
would
that's the
expect
literal
it.
that's the literal lampooning of things, but The Rock is not the guy. He's just not the guy.
Definitely not now. He may have had a chance 10 years ago, but after everything he's done to himself, he definitely doesn't now. He would have definitely had a better, let's just say, shot, regardless of what party he ran for, whether it's for president, mayor, governor, whatever it was. He would have had a much better chance doing it 10 years ago. He would have probably even won by a landslide. And that's just the truth. But nowadays, his name is nowhere near the hot name as it once was. Could he go back to wrestling and still do well? Yeah, I could see that. Even though a lot of superstars are not going to want that and a lot of fans are going to want that. Will he still probably do well? Sure. But as far as going to politics, man, that is career suicide right now. Maybe he could consider that, 15, 20 years down the line if his image is rehabilitated by then. I mean, let's be real here. He may be 60 something, but he still do very well for his age. I don't think he's going to be dying off anytime soon. He's going to be living a long life. So, yeah, there's always a redemption arc.
He looks good, but he's been going for 25 years, right? I mean, it's one of those things where it's like he needed to get on this a couple of decades ago, bud. He's in the second half of his lifespan for that kind of high adrenaline business at this point. He hasn't really started yet. So,
which might be why he's trying to slip into these other roles. But Wild Man Beyond, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, look, if he wants to do that, it's about budget too, right? This movie was $50 million. It's still a lot. So get into some independent films that cost $5 or $10 million.
$45 million of it went to The Rock, and I'm not being literal there. I'm being hyperbolic.
Then that's a self-inflicted wound.
That's what I'm scared of is being right. I was hoping to be wrong.
I don't know. I'm just joking. But Wild Man Beyond says this flop got me nervous for Sydney Sweeney's Christie, which is similar. That's true. But we'll have to see. Yeah, it all depends on the marketing for that. I don't think that this Rock movie was marketed all that well either. Because I remember hearing about it, but I forgot that it was coming out, and I didn't even realize it had come out this weekend until it had flopped already. So that tells me that they just did shit marketing, probably. Which is probably the one thing they could blame it on. But at the end of the day, I just don't know if it was going to make all that much money anyway. We get a lot of these kind of movies all the time. It's like every couple of years we get one of these wrestling kind of movies or boxing movies. They're some of the easiest Oscar bait, but they're almost culturally irrelevant now because the type of like wrestling that's usually involved isn't even the popular style, and the same thing with the box. Like boxing is kind of almost like persona non grata anymore. It's kind of weird, but yeah. Flying Blind also says, also, hi all, hope you're having a good night. Well, you too, and everybody in the chat as well. And then ActionCom asks, who saw Good Boy? I don't think too many people went to see Good Boy. Because I think it only dropped with like, $2 or $3 million for its opening. Yeah, very, very dismal opening. But I hear the problem with the film is just that you don't have another main character to follow besides the dog, which makes it a very difficult watch. They should have gave the dog a voice like Michael J. Fox or something like that. Then it probably would have been more entertaining, right? Jesus, it's the end of the world. Oh my God, I'm Homeward Bound. Yeah, anyway, I don't know. That sucked. But speaking of voices, and that I do from time to time, there is one that I don't get to pull out too often, but is, I don't know, somewhat popular, I suppose, to some people. It's Al Pacino. And I was in a movie once, a long time ago, called Heat. Can you feel it? Can you feel the heat coming back? I'm not in this one. Who-ah? Who is? I don't know. We'll find out. Tell us. Who's in the movie? Heat 2. Well, Heat 2 is heating up over at Warner Brothers. Michael Mann is looking to direct his sequel, I think, / prequel film to the 1995 classic. It will be getting recast, and it looks like Leonardo DiCaprio is the one who's being circled to star in this iteration. Now, I know Mike. I almost said Mikey, but Polly's in the chat. I saw just Mikey super chatted. That's why I said that. But Polly, if you want to hop in here quick, I know you read this book, so you can kind of give us an idea of what we could expect from this potentially. But I mean, this has something that has some. I guess Adam Driver is a name that's been floated about. Bradley Cooper, Austin Butler. So what they're gonna have to do is recast like all the characters. And from my understanding, from what Paulie had told me, was like the story picks up right where the original film leaves off, but also is a prequel at the same time. So I'm curious if you guys are interested in this, if you even remember the original film, if you're fans of it. Let's start with you, Nick. Is The Heat, or Heat? Sorry, not The Heat. The Heat is a totally different movie. Is Heat a movie that's prime for Toxic Tuesday? I would say so, since it has
you did
Robert De Niro
right,
and Al
it is.
Pacino in it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to do that for a Toxic Tuesday. Absolutely. And as far as a sequel, I don't know, man. I'm not really wild about that idea. But hey, whatever. If they make it and the trailer looks good, I guess I'll consider that then. But I am really not liking the idea of making this nowadays.
If this is true, this is a bad move. Leo should be playing De Niro's role. If anything, he looks more like a younger De Niro than he does Val Kilmer. The hell are you thinking?
I don't know why they just leave this alone, really. Why not just make something different that has some of these guys, and then bring in guys like Leo and just make an original flick? But obviously that seems like
unless he's playing the older version, like they're just recasting him in that respect. I guess I don't know. I suppose because Leo, why would he be a younger version, considering he's probably almost twice as old as what Val was in '95?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure on this one. ActionCom says your Al Pacino voice lacks that "I'm high on coke" frenetic pace Al Pacino wanted to convey. The cop was on something. Yes. Well, I just do a kind of random generic Al Pacino. There's no set like era or anything like that. He just he gets to a point where, you know, back in the day when he's in The Godfather, he's like, you know, I'm the Godfather, Kay, and it's my job. And, you know, and he's all quiet like that and stuff. But then when you get to a little bit later, that's when he just yells everything. Yeah, it's just, yeah. Hoo-ah. You got to do that once in a while. Anyway, I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to this. CC, what about you? Are you a fan of the original Heat?
I haven't seen the original Heat in many years. I know it's a good movie. It's just like it's been so long that I.
You haven't seen the Heat?
I've seen it. I've definitely seen it. It's been at least 15 years.
You're out of order. I'm out of order. This whole courtroom's out of order.
Like, I mean, typically
wrong movie. Sorry.
I even though I haven't seen Heat in a long time, I recognize its status, and we're in this age where nobody's making new fucking shit anymore. Nobody's making the new Heat. They're just making Heat 2. But even back in the day when they occasionally made sequels to great movies, it usually didn't end well. You know, I don't see why this is going to be any different other than the fact it's been like, God, how many years has it been? 30 years? I mean, sometimes you wait that long. Yeah.
95, yeah.
Is there an idea for this? Is there a reason for it?
Well, that's why I was asking for Polly, because like I haven't read the book. I mean, it sounds somewhat interesting, but I mean, I'd have to get like a first-hand account of, is the book really good? Is it worth really trying to pursue as a film, considering how iconic? And I mean, the original film I wouldn't pretend is as iconic as like Godfather or, you know, Goodfellas, but Heat is definitely up there, right? Like, and it also has the distinction of, I believe, being the first time that Pacino and De Niro are on film together in the same scene, right? If I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me if I'm wrong out there. But because they had done, I think, like 2 or 3 movies together to that point, but never had been on screen together, between Godfather 2 and a few other ones. But yeah. Anyhow, that being said, you know, they did The Righteous Kill a few years later, which was fucking wretched. Like, I don't know if anybody saw that piece of shit. Like, talk about a concept for a movie that should have ruled. And then when you watch the movie, you're like, this is it? This is dumb. Like, what the fuck is this? But yeah, okay. So yeah, it sounds like I'm right. So yeah, so with that, like, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm kind of glad De Niro's not going to be in it because I can't stand his ass anymore. It'd be nice to see Pacino come back, but what is he going to do? And I can't remember. Didn't his character die in the original? I'm trying to remember. It's been a couple of years since I've seen it now that you mention it. I saw it like 5 years ago, maybe, but still. Yeah, Righteous Kill was a huge disappointment. Yeah. Anyhow, well, we'll see how this pans out. It's not exactly a blockbuster per se, but it did do pretty well from my memory. Mikey's in the house, as I said before, and sends in a 52-month member chat. Says Tom Connors sound like the old Tom of me. Gee, I wonder if time spent with Mexican Iron Man has provided inspiration in life. Yes, very much so. Action Com says your Al Pacino voice lacks. Oh wait, we got this one already. But thank you for that, Action Com. And then Goddess of Whim didn't have the money to super chat, but she wanted to point out, and this is true, that it's all about the IP and not the IP, and selling the IP, not the cast anymore. Mostly it is. This is true. Like 99% of the time anymore, they don't know how to make a, and this is something we've discussed on several shows, but they just forgot how to make a movie star. They don't know how to do it anymore. It's like a foreign concept to them now because it's all about selling the Avengers or selling Star Wars or selling whatever. Yeah. So JPS has also become a member. Let's see what level. It's at the minimum effort puppy level, so that is Mikey's favorite video, so you better be watching, Mikey. We got the minimum effort puppy coming your way. That's right. While we're looking for that, there we go. Minimum. Oh, that's a maximum effort puppy. Whoops. It's the wrong one. There we go. Minimum effort. Minimum effort. Just the bare minimum. Shit, I'm sitting here talking and I didn't realize I was muted. That's right. De Niro. De Niro's character dies. Pacino's lives. Yeah, so maximum effort. Bambino is more like minimum. Or yeah, minimum. Hey, Bambino had some effort, but it depends on what you're talking about.
Bambino.
Bambino. He's so adorbs. He's such a cute. He almost reminds me of this puppy.
Hey, excuse me. Nada. Are you doing dishes? I hope so.
If only he did dishes, Mikey would be happy. But with that, I didn't really have too much else to discuss unless you guys had anything on the old plate.
I got nothing.
All right. CC, anything going on in your world that you wanted to discuss, or?
Not really.
Like, fuck off already, man.
Video games.
Oh,
I've just been playing. I've been playing Super Mario Galaxy because I love those games, and they got re-released on the Switch.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well, that's cute. That's cute. All right. Well, I hate to do this, kids, but there really wasn't much else on the agenda offhand. We will see you on the morning show, so don't forget to join us there. Other than that, take care of yourselves and each other, and we will see you very soon.
Yup.
Bye-bye. Join us over on Toxic Tuesday in just what?
About that. Hour and a half, Toxic Tuesday. A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge of Mike Harlow. And for the comic fans in our chat, Thursday afternoon at 2 o'clock, I will be hosting Mark Miller on my channel. Yes, the Mark Miller who wrote Old Man Logan, the one who did Kick-Ass, Wanted, yada, yada. It's going to be huge. So please get on subbing to my channel now if you haven't. So you can get ready for the toxicity and then get ready for the Class in the Glass with Mark Miller on Thursday afternoon. Thank you.
Well, that sounds like fun. Awesome. All right. Take care of yourselves, kids, and we will see you very soon. Oh, yeah. Well, I did see some of this stuff on the I Play Rocky project, but when we brought it up before, nobody really seemed interested or wanted to talk about it. So it's kind of just like, yeah, they got casting, which means they're really close to shooting. it's something I think I'll be interested in, but like a large portion of our audience and a large portion of our sphere will just be like, yeah, whatever. We'll see. Hopefully it'll be pretty popular when it does come out. So for those who don't know what I Play Rocky is, it's a movie about the making of Rocky. So we'll see how that turns out. If it's anything like The Offer was, I think it'll be really well done. So we'll see. So, all right, take care of yourselves, kids. And with that, hit the like button on your way out. As Goddess of Whim says, thank you to all the mods, and thank you for listening. Take care.